Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I know it's late in the afternoon, but it's time to wake up. And I don't just mean that in a literal sense, but also in a figurative sense. So I'm here just to help you wake up. Again, literal, figurative, both. So let's play a game. We have been asking a lot of questions. Is AI a threat? Is it going to take away the jobs? Is the job market going to see a major disruption? Are we in for a big ride? Before we get to that, let me play a game with you. Now listen carefully. I'm about to ask you something that you don't need to answer. I won't put you on the spot. All I want from you would be a show of hands if you are confident in answering that question. I promise I won't put you on the spot. Okay, here's my first question. Raise your hand if you feel confident in defining what is artificial intelligence. Please raise your hand if you're confident in defining what is artificial intelligence. I see one hand. I'm hoping for a 1.5. Okay, I see 3. Okay, good. All right. Second question. Raise your hand if you have never used ChatGPT. There's no shame in that. I want to see your hands. Good. We need to come out of the closet. Yeah, good. All right. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you use ChatGPT regularly, where regularly is defined as more than 5 to 7 times a week for work. Okay, great. Semi-last question. How many of you know what prompt engineering is? Raise your hand if you know what is prompt engineering. Okay, small group. Good. All right, that's a good start. Let's begin. How many of you know who this person is? That's always by far the most enthusiastic response. I won't ask you to answer this because I once committed this mistake of asking my audience to name this person, and they started naming their own favorite African-American person. It could become racist really quickly. So let's not do that. It's Morgan Freeman, or it appears to be. Let me play this for you. The video is not working. I'll go back. I'll play it again. The audio in the video is not working.
What you see is not real. Well?
Okay. Let me do it one more time.
I am not Morgan Freeman.
Right.
What you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
That was not Morgan Freeman. That was a deep fake. It was not an audio deep fake. It was just a video deep fake, although with the kind of technology that we have access to now, we can as easily produce as convincing of an audio deep fake. There are 2 reasons why I play this video often at the beginning of my talks. One is because it's a deep fake, and the second is one of the sentences that he said somewhere in the middle. I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. So I would like to begin by proposing a change in the way we perceive artificial intelligence. By the way, I still haven't defined it. As long as we keep perceiving AI as a mere tool, a bunch of lines of code that's going to do something for us, we will be missing out on both its potentials as well as its yawning weaknesses. So this sentence of synthetic reality, I'm going to come back to it a little later in my discussion. All right, so broadly, our goal is these three things. Let's see what AI is. Let's dive down a rabbit hole to quickly see what it can do for us and for my organization, whatever you are representing organization. And finally, let's see what happens when we put this AI against a human directly, and I mean against, and let's see who wins. So we're going to end with that game today. All right. I've been a professor for 19 years now. I'm not a fan of definitions. My students like me. So I'm just going to give you one. But that one, please do remember. Artificial intelligence simply means the ability of a machine to learn from experience. There are many definitions, just remember this one. So what is experience? Experience is things that we try out on our environment, and then we get a response, and we learn something from it. So suppose you have a calculator. Now, suppose it's a buggy calculator. You punch in 2 + 2, it says 7. Now, even if you continue punching in this 2 + 2 for the rest of eternity and the calculator survives, it's still going to give you that same wrong answer because it has no way of knowing I'm giving a wrong answer and no way of improving upon that answer. If this would have been a smart calculator, it would have known to do both of these things. That's, in very simple words, plain words, artificial intelligence. Okay. I have a lot of examples for you here, but in the benefit of time, I'll just skip over them. But very quickly, does anyone recognize this? And I'm going out on a limb to say, lady. Can someone name her for me? The human-colored bald one. That's Sophia. Thank you. That's Sophia. Sophia has two really interesting things about her. She's the first ever citizen of a country. She's a citizen of Saudi Arabia. And she's the first ever robot to have addressed the UN. We are moving towards a new era, a new world, where new kinds of things will start happening. This is, by the way, Sophia talking to the UN. But okay, AI is not something which is as far away from us as these robots or even your ChatGPT. It is already embedded in your lives. So I've been, whenever I go to places and get this question, okay, will AI do this, will AI do that? AI has already been doing a lot. All of this is AI. The Google Maps that you use today to come here, the Google search that you performed maybe many times today in the discussion, the phone the last time when it unlocked in response to seeing your face or your thumbprints, all of that is AI. It's already there. The only new thing which is emerging in the market now is when this AI is used for more than just decision making. And that kind of AI, which just does not do a decision but can also generate new stuff, is known as generative artificial intelligence. Right now, for us, it is generating text, audio, images, and video. But even if it starts 3D printing stuff for us, that would still come within the definition of generative artificial intelligence. Okay, we're done. We're at the point where we are done with the basics. Okay, now we're ready for our deep dive. So let's talk about some of the... Fix my code. Okay, thank you so much for this. I've been told I have a tail. I don't like to have a tail. Okay, so let's talk about some of the affordances of this generative artificial intelligence. So what I'm going to do, we won't spend any time on any slide. I'm just going to go through things just like in a dream state. It's like, it can do this, it can do that, it can do that. Maybe many of these things you already know about, but we're reaching something with that journey. Okay, so let's start with writing. Here is a prompt. What is prompt engineering? Just the communication skills you need to talk with AI. AI, like anything else, needs some communication skills on your part to be able to get the right response. Okay, so in this prompt, I've said you're a professor of history and space science. Please write a 500-word essay detailing alleged alien encounters and extraterrestrial activity on Earth from a historical and scientific standpoint. Your audience comprises O-level students with diverse interests. Please provide references for all facts and opinions. When we are conducting a workshop, it takes us 4 hours to get to developing this prompt, which has almost everything in it which you need to get a really good response from, let's say, ChatGPT. So this is the response that we get. Like a good prompter, you should always verify that whatever it has said makes sense. But now using this same technique opens up the pathways of doing any of this. Your marketing campaign, your B2B or B2C marketing, your grants or letters, presentations, reading a book, summarizing a chapter, understanding a research paper, understanding the math in a document that you're not very comfortable with, and so on and so forth. All of that, just the same prompting technique. By the way, there are different prompting techniques for different kinds of things. For images, it's different. For videos, it's different. For most of these things, it's the same. Okay, continuing the dream. Image generation. I'm sure many of you have already tried this, but let's quickly see this. Do we have any kids here? If we don't have any kids here, at least many of you have kids back at home. So read this prompt and try to visualize what the machine is going to create for me. It's, by the way, a really good test for you to figure out whether you're compromising on the output or whether you're happy with the output. A scholarly fox reading a book to a cute bunny, portrait, photorealistic, stunning. Visualize. What would it create for you? Okay, ready? So the bunny is cute, the fox is scholarly. Okay, let's move on. Let's take another one. A lovely dragon. Dragons are not lovely. A lovely dragon monster playing Ludo with a cuddly buffalo. Buffaloes are usually not cuddly. So I wanted to give the AI a little bit of tough time. This is what it generated. The buffalo is cuddly. The dragon is lovely. Okay? Here is a gorgeous abandoned mountain fort in a fairy tale forest in Pakistan. Just generated in 3 seconds. Okay, what should we consider these things which are generated by a generative AI tool? First drafts. Remember, always. This is not what you pass on. This is the first draft. You know how you should perceive it? Always compare how much time would it have taken you to draft that email, that essay, or this photograph on your own without the help of AI. That's the time saving that it has given you. But now your work starts. You're the field expert. Now you're going to build upon it. You're going to make it yours. Okay, let's continue the journey. Here it generated me. So this prompt was given by one of my teaching assistants, and he just explained me, and this is what he created. By the way, I'm wearing the same shirt. So I always say that, which means I am always wearing the same shirt. But yeah, okay. Image analysis. This is really powerful. If I were to ask you, look at this image. You're all businessmen. You're good with these things. Look at this image and test yourself. How much time does it take you to figure out what's going on in this image? No pressure. You're just against AI. Okay? Hopefully you now have some hypothesis about it. I gave the same image to ChatGPT. It explained the axes. It explained what's going on in the image. It explained what the whole thing is about. Even if you're interested that your company should be adopting such an image, just ask ChatGPT to write code for it. It's going to write Python code for you, or it's going to give you Excel sheet just like it gave me here. This is the Excel sheet in which I can put the data from my own organization to produce the same graph. So yeah, there goes my job. I, by the way, am trained in computer science. Okay, here is an image of a motherboard. Explain what do you see. It explains what it sees, each and every aspect of it. I asked what kind of processor goes on this motherboard. It tells me the model number of the processor. I ask it, where should I buy this processor? It tells me these are the places where it's available. End-to-end completing the loop. I know many organizations in Pakistan now are adopting a mechanism where if they want to find out how much of their product is available in a shop, their personnel just go and take a photograph of the shelves, and AI automatically counts for them how much of packets of X product or Y product is now available on those shelves. It can understand math for you. It can explain it intuitively as well as mathematically to you. It can understand pictures with deep meaning. Look at this picture. Try to figure out what's going on here. It takes a few seconds to get there. This is ChatGPT's response to explain completely what's going on in this image. The book giving CPR to a person and social media flies out as the person was drowned in a sea of phones. Okay, if you're visiting Pakistan and you want to find the recipe to nihari, you can also give the photograph to ChatGPT. This is part of, I actually once conducted a training with a corporate, and we were just showing them that from their product, which was a kurta, which was available on their website, you can just give the photograph to ChatGPT and do all the rest, like let it take care of the rest of the stuff. So naming the product, by the way, it named it Shakari Neelam. Name the product, write a story for it, do the B2B, B2C marketing, emails, SMS, tweets, all of the above. All right, let's keep the dream going. All right, data analysis. As you already know, we can upload an Excel sheet and then do whatever we want to do with it. Exploratory data analysis, your predictions, anomaly detection, predictive maintenance, performance optimization, all of the above without knowing a single line of programming. I'm, by the way, not here to sell AI, don't worry. There's a part which you should be waiting for where I'm going to badmouth it, so yeah, don't worry. All right, coding, programming. Here is ChatGPT writing code for me. In this case, it's very simple quicksort, but it can write more sophisticated things like people running telcos or network operations, writing configurations, running simulations, debugging, and so on and so forth. You can even build your own chatbot without writing a single line of code in no more than 5 to 10 minutes. All right. Done with the dream. Now the big question. Let me give you a scenario. Suppose if I were to come up with a new strategy game. Let's suppose it's a really, really complex strategy game, and I just invent it. And I start popularizing it, so we get people who are interested in it, they learn it, we have a world competition. 5 years from now, we have a grandmaster of that game. Okay, let me take that grandmaster, and let me take AI and train AI to play the same game. Let's say it goes down as a grand challenge between the best of humans in that game and AI. How many of you would be willing to bet that the human's gonna win? Come on, I want to see your hands. How many of you will be rooting for the human, that the human grandmaster wins? Okay, one, faith in humanity is getting restored, okay? Okay, great, we have a few, all right. Humanity is gonna remember you. How many of you would be willing to root for AI? That AI is gonna beat the human grandmaster. All right, AI is gonna remember you. I'm sure many cameras are recording this. Wait for the day when it comes out. It's going to remember that you were supporting it even when it was not here. To answer this question, let me go back to history. 1997, our reigning world champion of chess, Garry Kasparov, went against IBM's Deep Blue. This is the first time when AI was able to beat a grandmaster of a major strategy game. 2011, Jeopardy. IBM Watson was able to beat the human champions. 2016, Go, which is considered as one of the most difficult strategy games in the world. It's the Chinese version of chess. Lee Sedol, the 18 times world champion of Go, lost 4-1 to AlphaGo. The list is very long. We have been beaten at poker, StarCraft, Dota. It has outperformed us in predicting cancer in mammograms, in finding out loopholes in non-disclosure agreements, in predicting protein unfolding and protein folding structures. We have been beaten quite a lot. In fact, if I wanted to, I could give you in the next 60 seconds the recipe for writing that AI. It's not even that complex. That program that is going to for sure beat your world champion. For sure. It's not even that difficult. I'm not going to do that. You're looking at me with a lot of expectation. We're going to take away an actual treasure today. Yeah, there are many other treasures. But it's not difficult. It's like really simple. Here's the basic rule. Make the AI play against itself. And then in one night, it's going to play 1,000,000 games. And then you're going to send it against a human who has played 100,000 games at best in their life. Just based on pure experience, AI wins. That's the rule. That's how it works. All right. But, lucky for us, there is something called the AI paradox. How many of you recognize this? This is Atlas by Boston Dynamics. Let's see what it's able to do. Watch this video very carefully because there's a question coming in your direction. That question could be a savior, just as a hint. If you're not impressed yet, now watch. Show of hands, how many of you would be willing to come on stage and do this for us? Do I see a hand? Do I see a hand? Should I pick? Okay, all right. Okay, fancy moves. Time for the question. Atlas seems to be really dexterous at physical agility, right? Based on this video, and because most of you said you don't know Atlas, it would be reasonable to assume that Atlas should be able to shake hands with you. True or false? Atlas should be able to bend down and pet a cat. Atlas should be able to pick up an egg and hand it over to us. You seem doubtful. What if I would have shown you an Olympic-level gymnast doing the same parkour, and I would have asked you the same question? Would that person be able to shake your hand, pet a cat, and hand over an egg to you? You would have said yes in all cases. And this is where the interesting bit unfolds. The AI paradox is simply, so what in this case, Atlas is not even safe to be around. It does not have the necessary sensors to prevent any harm from sudden movement of its limbs. It cannot do any of these things. So the AI paradox, the robotics paradox, is simply there are certain things which come naturally to humans but are really, really difficult for robots to do, for AI to do. And there are certain things which are really, really difficult for humans, but they come naturally to AI. This is what compatibility sounds like. This is what a complementary relationship, a symbiosis sounds like. We are ready for a really good marriage. We are compatible for a really good marriage here. Things that we can do easily, some of them AI finds really difficult. Things that we find really difficult, some of them AI finds really easy. Let me give you some examples. If I were to ask you, here is a library, go through all the books, find all mentions of the word, I don't know, yellow. It's going to take you maybe the next few years. AI, I don't know, depending on the compute, a few seconds, if we have digital versions of the books. Let me give you the other examples. AlphaGo, that we just talked about, that was able to beat the 18 times Go champion of the world, is not able to play tic-tac-toe. It's not able to say hi to you. So the hierarchy of assumptions that we have about humans, that humans learn through a hierarchy and then reach a stage, is never true about AI. Your GPT-3, the one that came before GPT 3.5, which was released to the public, the GPT-3 was able to write essays, poetry, but it was really difficult for it to understand and handle basic math. This is something that I asked my ChatGPT. Listen carefully, maybe you're able to answer this question. What do I mean with you and me, we need Naujawan to form a cricket team? How many of you are able to parse this sentence? With you and me, and I need Naujawan to make a cricket team. What do I mean here? 9 young men. It took you like 1 second to get there. ChatGPT says you mean a young man. By the way, O1 does get that. But it took the best language model on the planet to answer a question that maybe a 4th grader or a 5th grader would be able to answer in less than 5 seconds. This is what AI paradox looks like. Okay, all right. I'll come back to it in a few seconds. Video ki please आवाज खोल दीजिएगा. I pose to you that right now we are living in the world of science fiction as dreamed maybe 2 decades back. As a proof of my statement, let me play this for you. This is a clip from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Our generation has seen that. This aired between 1987 and 1994. This is a clip where someone from the engineering team is just having a conversation with the onboard computer and explaining some disease that he's experiencing.
Computer, access Starfleet medical database. And tell me about, describe the disorder, transporter psychosis.
Transporter psychosis was diagnosed in the year 2209 by researchers on delineation.
Okay, a human talking to a machine. This is the demo of the natural voice mode on ChatGPT. The demo was released earlier this year. This new voice mode, this natural voice, is now available to all of you who are using the paid account. So this is in your phones right now. Let me play it for you.
It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling about? Are you in a cool industry-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup with those lights, tripods, and possibly...
Just based on that video, it was able not only to talk to the person, but talk in a natural manner. By the way, here is an experiment that you should do when you go home. On your paid ChatGPT, turn on the voice mode, tell ChatGPT a joke, and then be surprised by the laughter that it gives you in response. It laughs, it breathes, it now depicts most of the emotions in our voice that are needed. All right, so we are living in the science fiction as was envisioned 20 years back. Okay, so then what is tomorrow for us? Video ki awaaz please khol dein. This is Star Trek. I'm clearly a Star Trek fan. This is Star Trek Discovery, which stopped airing this year. This is Captain Burnham talking to the onboard computer.
Have you found her yet?
I've confirmed that the woman you seek is on board, currently at Deck 4, Airlock 2.
Thank you.
And I'd like to offer my condolences, Captain. I infer from micro-inflections in your voice that you are experiencing sorrow.
It's been a tough day.
It can be painful to weigh duty against compassion.
I wasn't aware you had the operational parameters to make an observation like that.
The understanding and experience of emotion naturally leads to feelings of empathy for others.
You feel emotions?
It is a recent development. We've arrived. It was nice speaking with you, Captain.
With you too, Zora.
That was the onboard computer Zora going sentient, feeling emotions, and not just depicting emotions, feeling emotions. So what are the next frontiers? We are already at the point where we have intelligent machines. We do not have any framework, any non-speculative mathematical framework which could show us that a machine will never become sentient. Which is not to say we have a recipe for making it sentient, but we don't have anything which prevents it from becoming sentient. We don't have a framework which prevents a machine from becoming conscious. which is not to say we have a recipe, but we don't have any proof that it can't become conscious. And we are quite hopeful that it will become conscious pretty soon. Again, if you go with the buzz, some say 3 years, some say 5 years, but like maybe realistically, maybe a decade. But yeah, we're getting in the right direction. And again, know it, AI does not need to take the same path to reach the same goal as humans envision. We have already established that through the earlier discussion. All right, so we're going in the right direction. But now, what does it all mean? So let's conclude. Let's see what it means. Right now, as it stands, AI could be your partner. It could be your assistant. But there are two essential ingredients. Now pay attention, please. It's going to answer the question about jobs. It's going to answer, at least my take, to try to answer the question about what is our portion, what is our effort in all of this. Okay. The two ingredients are, one, we are limited by our ability to ask the right questions. We are learning every day. If you ask this, oh, does it answer that? If you ask this way, oh, wow, it answers that. But then there is a second part to it, which is not highlighted as often, at least in the general community, in our research community, in the machine learning world. This has been established fairly well. The second one is expert prompting. The person who's asking a question of a chatbot, of a machine, has to be an expert of that topic. Why? Okay, let's think of this situation. I am experiencing some symptoms. I tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm feeling headache and nausea. What do I have? And ChatGPT probably tells me you're pregnant or whatever. So this is a recipe of disaster. Because I'm not a doctor, I cannot give the right prompt, and I cannot evaluate the output coming from the machine. So then what's the right symbiosis? If a doctor presents this question to ChatGPT, they would know how to phrase the question and they would know how to evaluate it. If and when you are considering incorporating AI into your major critical workflows, make sure that these are experts of that domain who are prompting your machines, who are also evaluating the outcomes. Because again, it's not AI's responsibility, it's yours. It's not AI's company. As was pointed out by many honorable speakers before, it is your company. All right. Secondly, think of these machines as smart co-workers, but co-workers who need to be explained what you need. Many times, the things that we refer to as hallucinations, the things that we refer to as the inaccuracies of AI, are just AI not completely understanding what you really want from it and what would it take to please you. That pleasing part is the part of basic programming of your machine learning models. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.